What's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of the Death of the Asia. Tonight, we're going to be talking about some trending topics in hip hop. Um, Before we do that, I want to send my condolences to the family of the legendary Tina Turner. She did pass away at the age of 83 years old. Um, that was a phenomenal woman, and I know a lot of people try to tie her legacy into her marital woes with Ike Turner, and I want us to remember her of the woman who was able to get through those trying times and make a name for herself. So uh, definitely want to send my condolences to the family of Tina Turner and friends as well. Um, Another unfortunate situation is the unfortunate demise of Takeoff, one of the rappers of the Migos group. Um, in 2022, he lost his life in Houston, Texas, due to gun violence. And it looks as though the family is going to be able to see justice. The DJ Pat, aka Patrick Xavier Clark, has been charged with the unaliving of Takeoff. So we're gonna see how that's all gonna play out. Quavo has actually announced that he's gonna be dropping the album. Offset is supposed to be dropping the album as well. I wish those boys could kind of figure out their differences and get back together and make magic again. It'll be a little bit different without Takeoff being here, but hopefully they are able to eventually come to terms with each other, squash things, and become a unit again. I would love to hear some more of dope music from the Migos. I'm sure they have a lot of things in the chamber that they haven't released, some unreleased singles that they could put together and create an album off of that with Takeoff voice being there as well. So I would love to see something like that happen. But anyway, let's move forward past this sad news. Um, Ice Spice, she's doing her big one. She is doing her big one. Let me tell you something. I'm gonna be perfectly honest with y'all. I don't really see it for Ice Spice. I don't get the whole hype around Ice Spice. It seems like she's kind of being pushed on us a little bit. I could see so many different things in play when it comes to her. One being colorism, um, the other thing being desirability, because I don't like to take anything away from anybody, but I honestly don't see the hype. And maybe I'm a little just a little bit too old where it's past my time or something like that, and I'm not really keen to the sound or wave or what the younger generation is listening to or whatnot. Because when you think about the glow up for Ice Spice, it's kind of like that Cardi B package, but it's a little bit different because we were able to see the grind, the hustle with Cardi B. With Ice Spice, it was just like she just popped up out of nowhere. And it's crazy because till this day, I haven't heard her on the radio. So Ice Spice is really not a mainstream artist, but she's getting that mainstream push. So much so that she is said to be doing a collaboration with Taylor Swift. She's also going to be on the soundtrack with Nicki Minaj for the new Barbie movie that is coming up. So it's very interesting to sit back and watch this glow up. It's almost giving a real life AI. You like that? That's what Ice Spice is giving me. It's almost unbelievable in a sense to where I'm like, is this some type of AI shit going on? Is this a real person? Because what's really good? Because I just don't see it. I just don't see it. She's graced covers of several magazines. She's been at the Met Gala. She's at this point she's crossing over doing songs with Taylor Swift and everything. And I'm just not seeing it. It's not connecting with me. So I'm not understanding how she was able to surpass so many other girls that have been in the industry long before her that has grinded. And I have said that colorism plays a part in it, but you have someone like Lotto who is also light skinned as well that she surpassed. And Lotto is a better rapper than her. In my opinion, more talented than her, has more personality than her, and all of those things. So I'm just curious about what is the machine behind Ice Spice, because whatever it is, that girl, she has a hell of a team. Um, we got to talk about Mr. Fetty Wap, Trap Queen himself. It seems like Fetty Wap was really living out his lyrics, because Fetty Wap has been sentenced to 6 years in prison for moving weight, and also for conspiracy, because they were using UPS trucks or USPS trucks. I say that mail carrying trucks. They were using mail carrying trucks, and they had like these secret compartments or whatever that they were holding weight in, and they were moving it. And it is so crazy how Fetty Wap was one of the most popular, most polarizing stars, like around, when did Fetty Wap really pop? It was about 2016, 2015, 16, 15, 16, 17, somewhere up in there, where he like really popped. And you had the Remy Boys, 1738, Trap Queen. You had Fetty Wap all over the airwaves, right? He ended up having a baby with one of the reality stars on. Masika was on Love and Hip Hop, I want to say. Well, anyway, I think she was on Masika. Masika had to be on Love and Hip Hop. Yeah, she was on Love and Hip Hop with Hazel E, or whatever the case may be. So he has a very beautiful baby mama, whatever, a reality star and everything. And at one point in time, Fetty Wap was really having his way out here. He was one of the biggest stars out here, right? And I wonder what that man was doing with his money for him to have put himself in a position to where now he has to depend on moving weight across the state. And he said in one of his statements that when COVID hit, it had a lot to do with it. Well, prior to COVID, we hadn't been hearing a lot from Fetty Wap anyway. So it appears though he had a lot of financial woes and tried to keep up with the Joneses. And he has several baby mamas and everything. And these rappers, they blow their money fast anyway. But I hate to see it, because that little girl, and I know he has other kids as well, but the most noticeable child that he has is the one with Masika. And she's so adorable, she's so precious. And outside of that particular child, got to think about the other kids, where a lot of people think about the money when it comes to fathers and how they're able to provide a certain lifestyle, but that time is so precious. And you got to think, kids grow up so fast, and you got 6 years in prison. Hell, by the time he get out, them kids probably don't even remember who he is, because kids, they develop and they grow so fast, and they go through all of these different changes. So now he was so focused on getting to the bag to where he's missing out on those precious moments with his children. And I really, really, really hate to see it. I think that we need to start focusing on sustainability more so than anything, and trying to keep up with these different impressions and these images. and you have all of this social media pressure. You have Instagram, you got Twitter, you got Facebook, you got TikTok, you got whatever else they be on, Clubhouse, Twitch, all of this different stuff, right? You got all of these different social media outlets. And I think people, they actually allow those different social media outlets to pressure them into living a lifestyle that they can't afford. And that's what it's starting to look like. I really hate that for Fetty Wap. I really do. Another story that I want to talk on real quick is about Derrick Jackson and his wife, Dania, however you say her name. So if y'all don't know, Derrick Jackson, he's supposed to be this relationship guru, and he panders to women a lot, black women especially. He pandered to women a lot and talking about the type of man that women need to avoid. And he be on his Steve Harvey shit. If y'all haven't heard about Derrick Jackson, he's somebody that I never really bought into, never liked, because it's one thing for a man to be compassionate and for a man to, be open to exploring the mind of a woman, respecting and appreciating a woman. But it's another thing when a man seems like he is so in tune with what a woman wants and what a woman needs to where he could speak from a woman's perspective. Once it gets to that point, you doing something shisty. You either pandering or you scamming or whatever. You got to be doing something shisty. But for him to be talking so much from a woman's perspective and down in men on some like pick me type shit, that let me know like Derrick Jackson was full of shit in the very beginning. I never really liked him or bought into him or whatever. And people be saying that a lot of women bought into him because he's uber attractive or whatnot. He doesn't do anything for me. But anyway, y'all remember when he had got blasted by Tasha K that he was cheating on his wife. And we didn't even know the man had a wife, but we found out that way that he had a wife. He was cheating on his wife. She's very religious or whatnot. She came on alive with him when he got blasted to take up for him with her bonnet on, looking real homely. And she said it was her helmet of salvation. That was really crazy. She was looking like a retired No Limit soldier. And she was in junior ROTC or something with that bonnet or whatever the fuck she had on her head. But she said it was the helmet of salvation or whatnot. And she was standing behind him. She was going to stick with her man. She was not going to leave him. And so I guess a light bulb went off or something happened or whatever, or his voodoo stopped working, where she decided to go ahead and leave and go on about her business or whatnot. And she was on a podcast and she was talking about the fact that she had found videotapes of Derrick Jackson sleeping with other women. So she was sitting up there watching the videotapes. She was studying the videotapes. And what she would do is she would try to reenact that in bed with him. That was some of the crazy shit that I had ever heard in my life. Like, I don't want to give her too much, but I'm going to have to give her a little bit. Because if for one, we were saying that maybe she's brainwashed, right? Okay. The man done stigmatized her. He done got in her head. She's brainwashed. We get it. Okay. We want to stand on that cool, fine, and dandy, right? But then when she started talking about how she would watch the tapes and she would try to reenact it, it's almost like she got a kick out of it. Because it ain't that much brainwashing in the world. Because it's not like she confronted him and told him, you gonna have to stop. I found these tapes and you about to lose your family or anything like that. She also said in the interview that Derrick Jackson had told her that she's gonna upset his core audience if she came out and said something. So she kept all of his tea a secret. So in my mind, I actually feel like they was plotting and twisting and doing all of this stuff together. It's kind of it's at this point, it's pretty much like she was the rider. You know how like when you in the streets or whatever, and you got that chick that she a damn fool, she'll crash out, she the runner, she'll hide whatever you got, she'll take the charge or whatever. She down with the team while the getting is good, but then when you get caught, she might take the stand on you. It's like that. That's how I feel that the Derrick Jackson situation is. She was all in with it. Like they had a plot to it. They was together in fooling the people. But then Derrick Jackson didn't stop his BS. And so she just had enough. I feel like if Tasha K never would have blasted Derrick Jackson for what he was doing, because apparently the wife already knew what he was doing, right? She was watching videos and she was practicing and she was trying to get it right. So she already knew what this man was doing. It wasn't no secret. So what ended up happening was she had to deal with the same embarrassment that Derrick Jackson was trying to avoid by her outing him. So now she gotta go, or she gotta pull back from the situation so she won't look like a fool. And that's the reason why she was going crazy, is because she didn't want to pull out of that situation. She still wanted to be with that man, but because it done got blasted to the world wide web, she had to stay there, and that was driving her crazy because that's the money man and all of that, and her whole life finna change. And she ain't gonna no longer live in the lap of luxury if she try to exit the situation. That's the reason why she was going crazy. And when she was sitting up on that video with the helmet of salvation on or whatever, because she did need Jesus at that time, and Jesus ain't got nothing to do with the bullshit that they had going on down at the Jackson's house. And if Tasha K wasn't never out of her, that lady would have still been up in there watching them sex tapes or whatever, rubbing on her old dry ass pussy. This crazy. This is some crazy mess. I've seen videos where they'll have it's like a humiliation thing where cuckold or something like that is called, where some the person would be with it'll be like a married couple, they together, but they'll invite a guy in to humiliate the husband, and the husband pretty much got off on it. And that's really what this Derrick Jackson and Denia thing seems like. These people out here is really crazy and really weak. And that just goes to show that you cannot take these people serious. You got to take what people say on the internet with a grain of salt. You got to chew the meat and spit out the bones. You can't be looking up to people and thinking just because somebody said something profound that they real. Damn fools, snake people, fake people can get on the internet and they could say some real ass shit. They could say something that don't mean that they're a real person. And when you're dealing with these people like Derrick Jackson, that they are pandering to a certain type of demographic, you got to put your antennas on and pay attention to what is being said and what's going on and what they're trying to do. Because anytime you have this guy that is acting like he is so emotionally tied to the emotions of a woman and the sentiments of a woman, and he's speaking from a woman's perspective, either his sexual orientation doesn't align with being with a woman, or he's just pandering and he's scamming. And that's exactly what we found out with this Derrick Jackson situation. But I'm not gonna hold y'all. I just wanted to get on here real quick and talk about these trending topics. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the video, or whatnot. We got some dope interviews and shows coming up tomorrow. We'll be going live on the Hip Hop School Past and Present podcast. We'll be going live at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time with our regular show. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. I'm about to tune out. Y'all have a good one.
I hope you black men were paying attention. I hope you black men were paying attention.